Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another BDE podcast. My name is Stephen Hawley, and I'm here in the studio with my main man. He never chases waterfalls. He stays in the rivers and the lakes that he's used to. Shelton Walker, my friend.
I got that reference.
Yeah, finally. I've been doing this for a hot minute. You got a couple of them before, but
yeah. With that one, I love that song.
yeah, you're
Don't go chasing water. I'm sure about that song later.
Well, you know what's funny, and just a small backstory about that is obviously don't go chasing waterfalls. Stay in the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Sure.
So Left Eye, who was a member of TLC. She was the L, if you couldn't put that together. She was in South America, and she was traveling from city to city, and she's in a robust part of South America. And she's on a road that's wrapped around a mountain, like one of those mountain roads,
sure,
in a Jeep. And I'm talking like not like a Jeep like what I showed up in here. Like, I'm talking about a Jeep with, like, 4 tires strapped to the back just in case something goes wrong, like a can of gas.
Gotcha.
Like, this thing is just... Yeah, she fell off the side of a mountain. Dead. That's how she died. She literally died chasing waterfalls.
No way.
I know it's
how do you open a podcast like that?
It's a little morbid, but
isn't
that a little ironic?
I had no idea.
I mean, Alanis Morissette would say it was ironic. Don't you think?
Don't you think? I got that one too.
Yeah, you got that one.
That's crazy. I had no idea. That was
it's
a cool but sad story.
Yeah.
Good thing we had that story because sports were kind of boring this week.
It's been a low
week. I feel like nothing happened.
Yeah, like a slow news cycle for sports.
I feel like no great event happened.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, like no crazy.
Nothing odd. Nothing out of the ordinary.
So we're gonna we're gonna hop into something real quick because you're up 3-2 on the score.
I am.
And we had a prediction a few episodes ago where you were picking the mascot, aka like who's carrying the flag, like who's gonna be that person for the Olympics, face? Who's taking Michael Phelps' spot as like, yo, I'm tuning in at prime time for this guy, for this / girl. Who's it gonna be, right? Shakira Richardson, no bueno, right?
No, she's fine. I'm sure she's fine.
She's fine, but she didn't go. Simone Biles was a possible candidate. We'll get into that. That was a no-go. I picked Caleb Dressel.
You did.
My man went 5 for 5 on gold medals. 5 for not 1,
no, right.
Not 2, not 3, 5. Putting him in a category 1 out of 4 Americans that win 5+ gold medals at a Olympic event. The other one being Michael Phelps, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
There was another swimmer, and another one was a speed skater. So he was the only other non-summer Olympic. So,
okay.
And it wasn't Ohano. It was I don't know who it was, early 80s.
Well done to him.
Dude, it was so electric watching this guy swim. Oh my God. I was dialed in every single time he hopped in the pool. I was like, the guy is an absolute beast. Bro.
And that's the other thing. He doesn't look like the
typical swimmer.
Dude,
he is yoked.
Very streamlined.
Yoked. Like he's strictly speed. Like he said that. He was, look, I'm not Phelps. I'm not going to be able to go to win a 200, right? I'm not going to be able to participate in a lot of events. He's fly, I believe what it is. Fly and just freestyle. Those are his two things. He won the 50 meter, broke a world record. They broke a world record in the 4x1 relay. I mean, just incredible. He had an opportunity for 6 in the this is the first time ever. It was the what's the word? It was basically it was 2 guys and 2 girls.
Yep. Oh, okay.
I can't think of what the
relay.
The relay, yeah. Oh. Typically, it's just all guys or all girls.
Yeah, they don't pass a baton.
Yeah, but they had it mixed. So the reason why we lost is because they said it's better to have your guys go first to get a big lead, and then the girls go last with that lead. We didn't have that luxury. We had a guy, girl, guy. So Caleb Dressel literally jumped in the pool with all these women. Like it was basically like it looked like a bunch of little kids and just adults jumping into the and he chased him down, which was incredible to watch. But he wasn't fast enough to catch him because he was so far behind.
5 for 5 is still, or 5 for 6.
5 for 6, yeah.
All gold.
Yeah, it was incredible to watch. It was so exciting. I'm happy to see hope he comes back. Katie Ledecky, she did pretty well. It was kind of cool. They were talking about
she did get 1 gold, right?
She got two goals and 2 silver. So she started in 2012, which was her first Olympics. and when she swam, it was the 800, I think it was, and they were talking like this might be her last swim. I was like, damn, that's crazy to think about. And she got out of the pool. She's like, I'll be back in Paris. I'll see you guys in LA.
I was gonna say, what is she, like 25 years old?
24. Yeah, but she even said she's very humble. It's crazy how humble she is. I actually really appreciate how humble she is.
I think we could use that a little bit in our Olympic athlete pool of folks that we've sent over. A little humility.
Yeah.
Which I've seen very little of, and it's made me not want to watch the Olympics. I've seen overall ratings wise, a lot of people don't want to watch them.
Which I don't. It makes me upset.
I know you're a fan. I know you're a big fan.
Yeah, it makes me upset to hear that because I feel like most of the time, I mean, the Olympic athletes are pretty humble all the time. I don't feel like there's a cocky one out there. It's crazy. I've never ran into Shaun White. What I would say would probably be the cockiest Olympian that I've grown up with.
There's been some people who wouldn't get on the podium. They wouldn't. They're just. There's been some other things that come with some wokeness that we won't dive too much into. But it's just been. I don't know if it's the way that the broadcasts have been, and they haven't communicated the events very well.
The time difference is always a big thing.
Or if it's the fact that there's some other stuff, and I don't want American athletes going to represent America using that platform as their political theater.
Yeah, I feel like at that time, like, look, let's put it away, right? We're here to represent.
At one time, you should put it away.
Yeah,
you stand there and you take pride in your country and
who you're playing for,
and who exactly.
Yeah.
You're there for a reason. If you don't like it here, and you really don't want to be here, Uzbekistan's borders are wide open, and they would love to have some people showing up. Like, yeah, go on. Like,
sure.
If that's the case, then don't go as a representative, and then not be
part of that.
A part of the representation.
And it makes me very upset to hear, like, because again, I was kind of thinking, I was like, what happens if the energy and the appreciation for this dies? Like, what happens? Does it go away? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's powered by too many countries to ever go away.
It won't go away. It won't go away. Now, that being said, last night, I stopped on it for a split second, and they were doing shot put.
Okay.
And that's an old school, like, original Olympic sport. Like, we're not talking about like BMX. We're not talking about surfing. We're not skateboarding. Like, we're talking about
handball.
Right, exactly. We're talking about old school shot put, and it was women's shot put. And my goodness, I
haven't seen any shot put. I'm jealous.
It was unbelievable.
It's so cool to watch.
I watched that, like, it was. Oh, and then, like, what they have, the sling, and they spin. So there's the shot put where you have the ball in your hand.
Oh, yes.
And then there's the one where you spin and you launch that thing.
No idea what it's called. But
right. But
they keep their foot in front of the line and, like, spin around.
And then, like, ballerinas. Like, they stop right there, and then they can't drift over.
These big, like, 400-pound men are, like, tiptoeing around the line. It's so cool.
I watched that, and that's probably the most time I've spent on the Olympics. But my goodness, that was fun. That's okay.
Yeah, I've tuned in at 8 o'clock every single night and watched it. I tune in during the middle of the day and try to find stuff that's live, because it's a little weird with the timing, which is frustrating. But
they've had this in the past. This isn't the first time.
Yeah, very always. I mean, I feel like the last, the only one that felt that was on time was Rio. I felt like we were more in sync with Rio because our time differences I don't think was that great. So I feel like that was the only time I remember 16 where we were able to be locked in and watch everything.
They're only about like an hour ahead of us.
I think behind, right? Because
Rio's on the right hand side of South America, and if you take if not, they're right there.
It's close. Within a couple hours, either forward or backwards, right?
And then we have the Atlanta Olympics.
That was '96.
That was awesome.
I wasn't even. Yeah. So LA's gonna be
I
cool.
Forgot.
LA's gonna be cool because they're 3 hours behind. Yep. So that's gonna be, again, more late nights, but that's not a big deal. And I know it's live. But it's been really cool. I enjoy them. Like we've talked about it. I'm sad. I'm actually kind of having like a little sadness that there's only a week left. Like, truly.
But there's the last week are some of the best events.
Well, it's all track and field. Last night was the last swimming. So swimming's done, which I love swimming.
Yep.
So that's over with. But let's get into the juice real quick. Let's take a minute and express our feelings on this, because we have to talk about it.
Look,
the biggest thing I want to go over with Simone Biles, okay. Is okay.
You're having a hard time here.
Yeah, so
you had almost a week to put this together,
and I've tried to do my due diligence.
and you've gone backwards and forth, like passionate to like just dismissal, passionate.
You've seen it, yeah. You've been part of the head trauma that because again, like I'm not. I want to make sure this is very clear. Like I'm not criticizing anything on mental health. This isn't a shot on any of that. I'm not taking light. I'm not being lighthearted to that. Where my frustration comes in is with these sports, right? With sports in general, with life in general. It's good to surround yourself by people who push you and put you outside of that comfort zone.
Absolutely.
Right? I feel like Will Smith says it really great. He says, he talks about jumping out of an airplane, right? And that fear of jumping out of an airplane is extremely scary. But behind that fear is success, right? Because
or a guy yelling at you, jump, go, now.
Well,
no.
after that. So jumping out, right, and doing that. But before that, you're deathly afraid. You're questioning everything. You don't want to do it. But pushing yourself beyond that, that's where you really become great, in my opinion, right? That's how I look at it. And a lot of people are saying, like, well, not to me, but I've seen arguments that are people that are against her saying, well, you haven't never won an Olympian medal. You don't know the pressure. You don't know any of this. My comment to that is, and again, our guy Iron Cowboy, when he was doing his 50 Ironmans in 50 days in 50 states, at the end of his runs, his mother would run with him. She would do a 5K at the end of his marathon. She would run a 5K.
His mother would do a 5K?
His mother would do a 5K.
I'm terrified of a 5K.
I know. We're doing one in 75 days or 85 days. But yes, she would do it at the end of each of his Ironman. And they asked him, like, hey, like, what's your thoughts on that? And he goes, her doing that every day is just as hard as what I'm doing. Because it's her hard. Yeah. It's hard for her to do that. Sure. So when people say, like, oh, well, you've never done that. Well, people have dealt with pressures. It's their pressure, but it's their hard. So to compare pressures, you can't do that. My point is that we've all overcome pressures and have dealt with hard things that it's been hard to us because we can't compare it to anything else. Right. And sure, you can make the argument like, you never have the world on your shoulders. The other point is,
you knew that going in.
We've got how many athletes?
Yeah,
you don't think Caleb Dressel doesn't have the world on his shoulders? You don't think Katie Ledecky doesn't have the world on her shoulders?
2 gold medals, 5 gold medals.
Right? I mean, all these people that are being looked at, that they're doing, this is their second, third Olympics, they have the same expectation, the same pressure. Everyone that goes out there, I get frustrated. I mean, again, now you can say you shouldn't get frustrated. Silver and gold or silver and bronze is cool. Like, no, like as an American, you're raised as, hey, we're the greatest country in the world. Now, people will argue against that, and that frustrates me too. But that mindset, we should always have that. We should always have the mindset like, hey, I expect to win.
And every country should have that. Whether you're from 100%. Greece or Uzbekistan or whatever the case may be, you should feel that your country, and you should have a pride for your nation, regardless of where you're from. And you should always feel that your country is the best.
Sure.
But with that comes, yes, pressure.
Yeah.
Pressure.
Yeah. And the biggest thing, we talked about all week was the GOAT argument. And I think that's where it bothered me the most is that, and everyone's claiming her more of a GOAT and brave. That is the last word. That's the one thing I can't agree with. I cannot.
I was going to take that because I know you were going to be really hyper focused on the GOAT. But the bravery.
Yeah.
People saying you're so brave for quitting.
You made a decision. I get it. People are saying she's brave because you stood up against, everyone's pushing against you. Well, I don't feel like anybody was pushing her to do anything.
No. As a matter of fact, they were clearly willing to let her do whatever she wanted.
Yeah.
She wanted.
Brave, the word is what I'm upset with, because brave is the young men that ran into battle in World War I.
D-Day.
Right, D-Day. That was bravery and courageous.
Like run into a monastery that's on fire and come out with a nun and a puppy. That's what rescue somebody. Like that's brave to me.
Yeah, that was kind of
bravery. Is not quitting.
You're taking you're downplaying the word, and I feel like the word "goat" is being a little overused now too, which is frustrating.
But only because she used it.
Not just her, but I think other people as well. Sure. But this is kind of in the spotlight again. Yeah.
She used it. We celebrated her on this show.
The argument is like, well, the media pushed her, or people are pushing her to be that. Well, that falls back on you to make that decision of like, hey, listen, guys, like a Katie Ledecky. very humble. Like, I'm not claiming anything. I'm just here to have a good time and see what I can do. And to me, like, hey, if you go out there and you don't do that well, like, at least you tried and you did your best.
Sure.
I'm gonna be frustrated because of course I want us to win.
Yeah, I want us to win, but you went and you did it.
Now,
It's President Roosevelt, the man in the arena. Give me a man whose face is scarred with ash and sweat, but give me a man that will fight in the arena.
yeah,
That's who I want.
sure.
I don't to quit. I don't care what like lens you see the world through. To use the word brave,
Yeah, that was
that scenario
that's the only thing I can't get behind.
It's cowardly to me.
Yeah, I can't get behind that. I can somewhat see the argument because I spoke with my stepdad about it, and him and I usually agree. And he was like he understood where she was coming from, which I was surprised. He was like, look, it's a dangerous sport, right? You risk your life on this, and I get it. But there's a lot of sports that you risk your life every single time.
You risk your life when you drive your car.
Yeah, but
look, I have an hour drive home. Like that's risky proposition.
Yeah, 95 is pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean that thing is a death trap.
But yeah, so there's a lot of sports that you trying to think of what are one of the I had that in my head earlier, but sports that's just dangerous in general that you put your life on the line. I mean, football. Yeah, I mean, football, soccer. Now, is it the same level? Can you break your neck? In football, very much so. Every play.
Easily.
Every play.
Who's the linebacker from Pittsburgh that just started walking again? And he was a badass.
Is it Fitzpatrick?
No.
No, that's not. No. I know who you're talking about, though.
It's not James Harrison, but yeah.
No.
Ryan something.
Ryan Harrison? No.
Either
Doesn't
way.
matter.
Yeah, he Monday Night Football.
I remember
he puts
that.
his head down, and he just does a normal football play.
Yep. And paralyzed.
Yeah.
And well, he's working his way back. He walks. So there's plenty of, again, the fact of the matter is there's plenty of sports out there where your life is always on the line. And I think there's a point here where we're never going to agree. I kind of realized that. I was like, look, we're just going to have to agree to disagree because I think we're all wired a little bit differently. And when it comes to sports like this, I'm competitive. I think everyone kind of knows that who knows me. And I think just in life, like I think that's what kind of makes people tick, is that competitive drive and energy, and that win or lose mentality. And I'm like, hey, it's gonna be okay. I'm never gonna be okay with that, and it's okay that you're not. I'm not gonna judge you for not being that intense.
Sure, I'm not forcing my.
Yeah,
my
I'm not. Genuinely,
on
I'm not. Like I'm not mad at anybody for seeing the other side. I appreciate that. I respect it. The thing is that Michael Phelps started. It's okay to not be okay. I support that. Totally agree. Like I'm all in on that. I think there's just a time and a place, and I think that.
Look, if you're
I also don't want to get abused.
Sports, if you're in professional sports and you are a professional athlete, like an NBA player, NFL player, whatever professional sport you want to be a part of, if you have an issue that you need to address, that's fine.
Sure.
Because you are a professional athlete.
Yeah.
You are going to the Olympics that have been going on since, Athens, the original Athens.
Yeah, 19. What's crazy, like.
But you're
go ahead.
Going
yeah, I
as
don't cut you off.
Yeah, no, you're good. But you're going as a representative of your country. It only happens once every 4 years.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So then, come on. Like I just don't understand.
This thing got me such in a whirlwind that I looked up the history of the Olympics because I don't. For me, like. The importance of it to me, I kind of just grew up with it. I didn't have to be taught why it was important. It just made sense.
Sure.
Like, I know it sounds dumb, but I remember you saw that American flag. I knew what it meant. I loved it because you didn't have to know the sport. You know why? You were going for that red, white, and blue. It didn't matter what it was.
You were going for your country, regardless of whether or not you understand the sport at all.
Right?
I don't really get water polo.
Well, I mean, it's soccer in the water, but...
Sure, but I mean, you see my point.
Yeah,
I don't really have to understand the sport. I just know that I want that guy to win. Why? Because
once I figure out how to score...
white, blue, done.
That's it, right? And you just feel that. And so I looked it up, and it was back in 1905 when it started in Athens, Greece, and they would create statues of these winners. And then it went away, and then it came back, and now it is what it is. But they would have statues of these guys who would go out there and compete and win. Like, it means something. It's and again, you can have this whole argument and political debate of like sports aren't important, whatever. I think sports are the root to success. I think having a team atmosphere, you learn things that the military teaches you, right? If you don't go in the military, you learn it through sports, not to the same level, but you learn brotherhood, you learn friendships,
100%.
you learn respect, teamwork.
I have said the same thing a million times. People don't understand the camaraderie that sports gives, and then for your fanhood. I mean, look, I've said it a million times. Like nothing better than being in Doak Campbell Stadium on a Saturday with 80,000
Get goosebumps
of your
hearing you
brothers.
talk
Yeah,
about
I
it.
just did it, right?
Yeah.
Like, but it's the same with the Swamp, right? I mean, you just feel like it galvanizes people, whether you vote red or you vote blue.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That's what I love about it.
That day you are wearing the colors of your school or the colors of your country, and that's who you pull for.
Yep.
And that doesn't, everything else aside, because that is your focus at that point. And in this scenario, we send an athlete who has self-proclaimed to be the greatest of all time and can't mentally make it through. It's
tough.
Again, I don't want to disregard the mental health piece. I understand.
This isn't a disrespect to that at all. I think,
but it's just difficult to digest for everyone who has that kind of passion.
Yeah.
For our colors, and you have a flag outside of your house. You've got your
overalls
behind you. I've got a flag outside my house.
I bleed it.
Yeah,
okay?
if I walk up to if I pull up into my driveway and my flag is even the slightest bit off, like it's like
mine got caught in the thing the other day. I dropped everything and took it off.
Thing I do is make sure that flag is correct.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of our piece. I don't want to go any more about it. What I do want to do is recognize Suni Lee. Okay,
atta girl
who stepped in for the
Yes.
all around. So we got silver in the team event, which is the original one that she pulled out on. But she also she's pulled out completely on all events.
Yep.
So Suni Lee stepped up and clutched it up
on the floor event.
on the floor. It looked incredible. So it was a floor event and the bars.
The bars.
She killed it on the bars. Killed it. Now the Brazilian who had it in the bag, she screwed up on the floor a little bit. It's part of it. That's the game.
That's the game, baby.
But it was really cool to see her win. She had an issue with 2019 with her father, who she's really close with. Mm-hmm. He fell off a ladder right before Worlds and was paralyzed. And they interviewed her and they're like, well, why didn't you? What happened? And she's like, I had to go. He would want me to go. And she went and competed in the Worlds. I think she lost to Simone, but she got second. But just all around, just really cool to see her win.
Amazing
We've got
job.
individuals coming up too.
Gold overall is what she got.
Yes. Gold over. So we got silver in the team event,
Right.
gold in the overall. So you compete in all of the events and your total score. And now what's coming up today, I believe, is they compete in just the one individual event. So she's only doing bars, I believe. So she can win one more gold if she dominates in bars. And there's two other girls that are doing vault. And then there's one person, I can't remember her name, but she's doing the floors. She was really good on the floor. She was actually better than Suni Lee, but she was so far behind that it didn't matter. But she killed her floor routine.
Yeah, look, it's in the story about Suni Lee and her dad, and her mindset was, if I don't go, he'd be disappointed.
Sure.
I mean, there's some mental fortitude there.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
She walked out there, man, and she
Got it
was
done.
she was a
Really
boss
cool.
the other day. Yeah,
Really cool.
And then to see and she even knew when the it was still going. Like they still had a couple other athletes that had to do theirs, but there was one person that was close enough to catch her.
The Brazilian.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
when
she should have won.
Yes.
She was positioned to
and
win.
when she missed, I think she stepped out of bounds
Twice.
Yeah.
Which is
Couple-
like a.
it's at
I've
one
learned a
point.
lot about gymnastics, bro. I got the points down on him.
Yeah,
Bro.
yeah,
It's
right.
crazy.
So I think it's a negative 1 point.
It's 3/10 deduction, sir.
3 times. Okay, sorry.
They do it too. Oh man, that's a 3/10 deduction there. But they don't say anything the whole time. Like right, it's super quiet in the floor routine. And the guy pops in. Oh man, that's a 3/10 deduction.
It's like watching golf.
It really is.
And now he steps up, and he backswings, and it's an amazing shot.
You guys disrespect golf so much. That's not how it goes. Okay, but we're not gonna get into that. We got Olympics 1 week left, but it's hard. We try to pick Olympics for our scoreboard.
It was tough.
Yeah.
We don't know when anything happens.
With that, and I was like, who? I was like,
Who do we?
what-
Well, we're both gonna pick the
what,
USA
choose Canada?
guy.
Listen, in the track and field, I'll take Jamaica. Like whatever. They swept last night in the 100 meters. So
I don't doubt that at all.
I kind of adopt Jamaica, like Jamaica, the Bahamas, and America. When it's track and field, I'm happy for either one of those
I'll take the
countries.
Jamaican bobsled team.
Absolutely. Oh my!
So-
Every time, bro, I'm going for those guys. It's cool to see. Like
funny,
I
right?
feel like
There's a whole movie about it.
it's a great movie, by the way. So we had to pick a scoreboard.
Yep.
It's kind of light right now, and this kind of leads into two topics here.
Couple, yeah.
So we'll do scoreboard, and then we'll talk about what
Let's go.
happened to what happened to your.
I'm
It's-
hurt right
I've
now.
honestly been extremely sad about it because, hold on, we're getting ahead of ourselves. My apologies.
Scoreboard.
All right, we're gonna take 3 baseball games.
Hold on, real fast.
What?
We're
What'd I
giving
do?
we're giving
What'd I
you
do?
we're giving you a point.
Oh yes, for Caleb.
Yes.
So we're tied 3-3.
He predicted it ahead of time and he killed it.
And not only
Even
did he
though
get it,
wasn't
it
part
was a
of the
sweep.
scoreboard. Yeah, it wasn't part of the scoreboard. We didn't say
It was kind of like the
gonna be
Floyd situation
Yeah.
where, like, if you call it to
I
a T,
nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
you-
and you did that with him. And
Yep.
like he swept the damn thing.
So, 3-3.
3-3.
We're picking 3 baseball games.
Right.
And if
But
we ever
things
do,
a little bit different here.
yeah, if we do baseball, this is what we're gonna do every single time. We're always gonna take our team.
Yep.
I'm a Braves fan.
I'm a Cubs fan.
You're a Cubs fan. So you're taking Cubs over the White Sox.
Yep.
Great game. Great rivalry.
And does everybody understand why I think a lot of folks are Braves or Cubs fans? I don't know if that's a knowing thing.
Yeah, because neither of you are from. Well, I mean, I'm not from Atlanta, and you're not from
Chicago by any stretch.
But
It's because cable had TBS,
yep,
which was national.
Yep,
And
and
they had the
WGN.
Braves, right? And then WGN, which was the
that's exactly
Cubs.
why I'm a Braves fan. Braves fan.
Exactly. But so I remember, like, we were talking about this in the precast. Adding lights to Wrigley Field is a relatively modern, like addition. They
Yeah.
didn't have lights.
I didn't know that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they didn't have lights when I was a kid. So when I
was a long time ago.
That was it was like 54 years ago or something backwards. But I remember I would come home from school and I would turn on WGN, and because Wrigley Field didn't have lights, there was always a day game for the Cubs.
Sure.
So I would come home, I would turn on WGN, I'd watch, whatever, whether it was the start of the game or the middle of the game, whatever the case may be, but I would watch the Cubs every day. And then when the Cubs game was over, I'd go outside and play.
Yeah.
But every day would end with me coming home,
To the
turning
Cubs.
on the Cubs and turning that on. And it's the same with
the Braves.
With the Braves, yeah.
Yep, they're always on TBS.
Always.
You always had access to them.
Always.
So just a natural thing
Yes.
to kind of enjoy because
So you're a Braves guy, I'm a Cubs guy.
you're taking Cubs on Friday,
Yes. Against the White
August
Sox.
6th, against the White Sox. I'm taking the Braves over the Nationals, which is also a great rivalry game.
Good one.
And then we're doing essentially a tiebreaker,
Yep.
right? If both of our teams win, and that is the Mets versus the Phillies.
Yes.
And I get first pick this time.
You do because you won last.
Yep. So I chose the Mets,
You did.
and the Phillies are at home, but I hate the Phillies.
I like the Phillies, like the old school,
Hey,
like
Phillies can kick
like
rocks.
the purple and like light blue with
Yeah.
the pinstripes
it's
and,
ugly.
and the giant P.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, and then they changed it up. They changed the.
They're a bunch of losers.
Well, they have been for a long time, so that's not entirely.
Well, they won 08.
They won for a minute,
So we're doing that.
so that'll be the tiebreaker.
That's the score. But what happened in the last 48 hours was insane.
Heartbreaking.
The trade deadline was yesterday.
Yeah.
The Braves did absolutely nothing per usual. Okay.
They don't need to do a whole lot.
Yes,
They're
they
in good
always
shape.
need to. Don't. But the Cubs, holy crap!
If you had
Holy crap!
if you had been on that team for more than 36 months, go ahead and just sign your exit check.
The core they won the 2016 World Series with,
Fly the W, baby.
gone
Gone.
in a matter, dude. So this is what's really cool about like just sports in general, because I'm seeing all these videos of how sad these Cubs fans are, and when it's happening, right? Like there's a quote was, "How do you know? I wish I knew it was the good old days before it became the good old days."
The good old days, yeah.
And they keep playing that with this, and that's exactly how I felt. I remember watching the 2016 World Series,
Yeah.
cheering for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Like
it was game 7.
incredible game. Bryant to Rizzo to end the game,
Yeah, that's it.
and that was one of those cores that you just enjoyed and loved.
It was late at night. And
it was close to midnight.
yeah, and I just remember, like, I was so
went nuts.
extremely happy. Like the goat, the curse of the goat, the curse of Steve Bartman.
It's all gone.
All of it, like the Moises Alou, like meltdown when he touched the ball, like all of it. It was finally gone.
And these guys were brought up through the system, which makes it even better, right? They built this team. They built this with a core. It wasn't like they didn't Yankee it. They didn't
no.
Dodgers it. They built this
They
team.
built it
Bryant,
organically.
they had Addison Russell at the time, Biles,
Rizzo.
Lester on the mound, which was a great
Awesome.
addition.
Yep.
Jake Arrieta. They had a great team. Kimbrel
I forgot about Arrieta.
Kimbrel in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if he was in the bullpen for that game. I think he was. I can't remember. But all gone. Kimbrel, Baez, Rizzo, and Bryant.
Game 7.
Gone.
It was. I remember just. I didn't think it was possible. I've been watching the Cubs forever, and I just knew that there was a curse. The Cubs will never be good. I remember the lineup of Sandberg, Mark Grace, Sean Dunston, Andre Dawson. I mean, we
Wow,
had.
you're really going back there.
But we had a team. We had a really, really good team, and got into the playoffs. And then the wild thing, Mitch Williams, comes in and he blows a save. And that was it. We were out, and that was the best team the Cubs have had. And I want to say like that. Yeah, that was the '80s, or maybe early '90s. Top.
This 16 team was solid.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Dude, there literally is nobody left. It's so sad to watch.
The whole thing's been gutted. Now, the one thing I will say,
Rizzo. So real quick,
go ahead.
Rizzo to the Yankees, and we talked about this. He had a dinger in his first game.
First game as a Yankee, which is crazy because a lot of players, when they transition from one team to another, they have like a little bit of a down.
Sure.
Turn. I mean, it's a lot of transition, especially in baseball, where everything is very
quick.
Yes,
it's quick.
And so a lot of times, especially when you have like these high level guys, like even like an Alex Rodriguez, when he went to the Yankees, he was horrible for the first latter half of the year when he was there.
It's a weird transition, right?
Yeah.
New team,
and
new
then
stuff.
to see Rizzo go out there in
Hit
his
a
first
dinger.
time,
It was really cool.
in the gray.
Which is a BDE moment of the week, which we didn't talk about because
Yeah.
there's so much other stuff
So
going
many
on.
other things
But
going
we'll put this as a BDE because it's probably the best BDE moment of the week, besides Dressel winning 5 gold medals. So these are 2 BDEs.
BD, yeah.
Yeah.
BD ba.
Was during the first game he wore Cub cleats
Yeah.
and Cub gloves, which I think is super cool. Like those guys are through and through Cub guys.
Which is crazy to me because the Yankees are very well known
Yeah,
for extremely
strict.
regimented. Like you cannot have facial hair,
Yeah.
you can't do this, you can't do that. Like if you're a Yankee player,
You're clean.
Yeah, but to go out there and be able to wear the cleats and the gloves, and then the first time you put the bat on
Dingers.
the ball, baby, just welcome to the Bronx. Welcome
pretty
to
cool.
the Bronx. Yeah, I was super happy for him. Look, when you have a team like that, and it's happened in the NFL, it's happened in basketball. We've seen that a lot. Like you build a team, the Cubs are not performing very well with the talent they have. Sometimes you just get to a point where you have to start kind of cleansing.
You gotta start over.
Yeah.
I get it. It makes sense. It just doesn't make it any easier.
It doesn't make it any easier. But the one thing I will say is Theo Epstein. He built that Boston
dynasty.
Red Sox team.
Yep.
Who finally got over their hump, and I think they won a couple with him. And he was, I want to say he was the youngest GM.
Yep.
To ever win a World Series, and then he went to
And
Chicago.
he broke the 2 biggest records.
Yes. Yeah.
The
Curse
curse
of the Babe.
records.
Yeah, the Curse of the Babe. But he went to Chicago when he did. I was super excited. So, look, I hate to watch it happen, but if anybody else was in charge,
It'd be a little more scary, yeah.
it'd be a little scarier.
So yeah, definitely a sad day. Our last little bit here.
Let's talk football.
Yeah, let's get into
We're
it.
getting close. We're
Yeah.
getting close. We're in 2-a-days in college football.
We're a month out from the draft.
Yeah.
AKA fantasy football
Fantasy
draft.
football drafts, which is
I
like
forgot
everybody
to-
has like 7 of those.
Dang it. Austin, he put his fantasy football name as like Sweaty something. It's a class.
Sweaty balls.
No, I can't remember what it was. I wanted to bring it up, but I can't remember what it was. Go ahead and start the combo.
Austin, if you're out there,
Let me pull it up.
Put it up on the comments, baby.
Because it's gold. But we're gonna.
Let's talk a little bit. Okay, so we're not in the heat of football, NFL football just yet. But there has been a lot of news.
Sweaty Stallions.
The Sweaty Stallions.
Because his last name is Sweat.
Yeah,
It's
that's
absolute gold.
But the one main topic, and the biggest talking point in the NFL right now,
Or was. It's starting to die
a
down.
little bit, is Aaron Rodgers.
Discount
now look,
double check. We shitted on him a few weeks ago.
Look, and you and I in the precast, we were about to go to blows. We were about to go like Aaron Paul,
Logan Paul.
that guy, whatever. But we were like,
Floydie.
yeah, Floydie. We were about to spar over this. We were heated.
Yeah, we disagree a little bit on this, which is the first time ever in podcast history
I think so.
that we disagree. So he came out and kind of made a statement on why he did what he did and how he acted, right? Because he kind of, reason why he said he was kind of a dick was because he just kind of said, "Screw it, I'm not doing anything," and didn't say anything, didn't defend himself, just said "F it," and all we had was the Packers narrative, right?
Right.
He came out, had a little 30-minute press conference, and just laid it all out.
At the end of the day, like I think when we were talking about it in the cast, precast, you felt like the Packers organization was in the right.
I still feel, I think how he handled himself was much better during the interview, but his biggest complaint he was never money, right? He wanted a little respect for the vets, right? And we talked about that a little bit. I guess they wanted more recognition. I don't really.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, when you have players like,
Charles Woodson, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb,
yeah,
Clay Matthews,
and
those were some of the names he mentioned.
Yes, and then like an AJ Hawk and all, just these guys who have given themselves to the Packers,
sure,
given their career per se,
sure,
and then just I guess their exit and the way that they were treated maybe on their way out, because look, it's a business.
Yeah.
So,
that's where we disagree, because
yeah,
Rodgers wanted it all about him. Even still, he's like, look, my biggest thing is like, I want to be part of the recruiting process, which I get, but he's like, they want to come play with me, right? They don't want to come play for the Packers. They want to come play for me. And I was like, I get that. I get the arrogance. I get the confidence. And he's probably right. To me, it's like, look, it's a business. You're part of the corporation.
sure.
If you want to go own your own football team, go buy one.
But at the same time, your job especially as a quarterback, you're the face of the team. You're the person. And nobody, these guys are professionals. They want to win.
Sure.
I don't believe he didn't feel like the Packers were doing enough to give him the tools to win a championship, and they were ahead. If you remember the NFC Championship, they were ahead of the Bucks. And then eventually they ended up losing.
They lost, yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at when Tom Brady went to Tampa,
sure,
he made that organization commit
he
to
also
winning.
He also showed up with 6 rings.
Well, Aaron has one, and he was the MVP of the.
So one guy wins 1 ring, he now gets to control the team.
But he should he not have an opinion? He's been the face of the team for what, 10 years?
I think they never discredited his opinion. He wanted full control, full reign. And like you said, well, hey, he wanted to be part of the decisions. Well, Packers been around a lot longer than Rodgers has.
Right,
and they've won a couple rings without Rodgers.
Sure.
So I think they know how to run an operation.
Maybe. Like, it's not like
They went and drafted Rodgers.
True, but it's not like the same organizational, the top end of the organization are the same people that won all those rings in the past, right? It's not the same people, I think that's what he's saying.
That's like you and I where we work, right? I have a good month, right, or a good year of managing my team, and I go to Tom Bomlin, the CEO. Hey man, I want in. I want to make some decisions around here. What's the skin coming off my back? Where's the sacrifice from me?
But
my job's not going to be on the line.
But you can make decisions. Are you not empowered to make decisions? Because
sure, in my realm, in my area, like he can, like you. Hey, Roger, I'm not talking about Rodgers having calls on the field, because he does.
He does it all the time.
He does it all the time. An audible is a prime example of that, right? But I'm talking. He wants to be part of the
prime example of that is them going.
If you want to make
kicking the ball on 4th and 1 when he was. Clearly,
so look, sometimes you're gonna be overpowered. That's part of it. You're not the head coach, and sometimes you're gonna have to swallow that pill. That's just part of life. You can't argue that,
and that's fine. But look, if you're a professional athlete and you're at that level,
you're claiming that Rodgers right now is be all like the perfect human being. Like he knows all.
He's
okay.
Not.
So he's trying to say like, hey, like I'm the guy, and he did it he did a very good job explaining himself, and he spoke very well, which I appreciated, but. It's not. You're a number.
Tom did it.
He's got 6 rings. And it's Tom. I know. Talking about Tom Brady. Okay, let's the go.
Well, maybe if the Packers would have invested a little bit more into letting Aaron Rodgers.
Tom did it 6 times in New England without that though.
He absolutely had input.
Sure, but I mean,
I mean, look, think
Go
about
to the
it.
teams he won with. It wasn't like they were like these rock stars.
So let's just say hypothetically,
I think
if Aaron Rodgers was to say, "I'm not going to go back to the Packers," which he has, he said, "I'm going back for 1 year at least." But let's say hypothetically, if he went to like Atlanta and he took over,
like the communications or whatever, or like
and just said, "Hey, look,
you think the Atlanta would go and win?"
I do. I don't think that we could discredit it. He clearly didn't feel like he had the tools to win. I mean, who's the running back there? Who's the running back in Green Bay?
You had him on your team. He's an absolute stud. Well, Aaron Jones.
I mean, okay, so then
He's Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams.
That's it. And they got rid of Jordy.
Okay, Jordy's old.
But so tight end, offensive line.
I can't think of the tight end's name right now.
I think it's the guy who played here forever, Mercedes.
No, I don't think that's who it is. He had a solid team.
Look. I think that's where his head's at. Is there were opportunities to get more talent on the offense or defensive side of the ball.
I think
and
this
they didn't take advantage.
I think where again this is kind of where we're differentiating in the world is where we think where we should be and what we're owed and what we're due.
He's not owed anything.
He's not.
But he clearly has. He has skin in the game here, and the guy
So does every player on the field.
But
why is he any different than anybody else? Guess how they got Aaron Rodgers? They drafted him through a draft, and he worked under Brett Favre. They did it to Brett Favre. Why aren't we pissed that Brett Favre got screwed over?
They were like $10 million under the cap. Go get another offensive lineman that can block for him for more than 1 second. He got his ass kicked this year.
Brady gets his ass kicked all the time.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Oh my god.
Last year, no. Not last year. Last year, my man was untouched. It was a great team. But prior to that, my man would get destroyed.
I do not remember any time that Tom Brady.
It goes back to us. If you're going to claim yourself as the GOAT and one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, you adapt.
He did.
Plain and simple.
He
did a great job.
He was the MVP. What are you talking about?
Okay,
but I guess that's what he's saying is like, look, I'm bringing enough to the table here to say that we were this close. We were NFL.
I think there's just too much arrogance. That's honestly what it is. It's just taking up too much air in the room.
Well, look,
the ego is over.
The one thing I will say is he said in his press conference is I love my team, I love my coaches. It's clearly just a disconnect.
It's a front office thing.
Front office thing, yeah.
So, but look, again, back to my original point with the Tom Baldwin situation. The front office, they own that team, and at the time, what they're looking at, they might be looking at a 5-year plan. We talk about this all the time at work. You and I we're supposed to look at a 6-month plan. Those big guys, they look at 5 years. They're way ahead of the game. So he's looking right now. He wants to win right now. Well, they got to look. I've got to stay relevant for the next 20 years. So I can keep my job. Rodgers is going to get paid, and he'll be gone in 3 years, and it'll be a thing of the past. These guys in the front office, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. They have to protect their job. They have to do what they came in to do.
So do you believe that the Packers gave every were they completely bought into a championship? Did they do everything that like the Buccaneers did to make sure that they had a championship, or did they leave some things on the table? So I feel like they left some things on the table, and that's what he's frustrated with.
So I think, and I get frustrated with the Braves because they do the same thing. I feel like they don't buy in all the time when they should be buying in, but at the same time, there's a cost to when you buy in, of how long you're going to be good. The Bucs have never been good. They don't have a franchise or a dynasty or a history of being good. The Packers, there's a lot of pressure to always be good as in Lambeau. You always have to be good. So sometimes, yeah, like their cost is like, look, maybe we don't go all in and we try to win with what we got, but I'll know for the next 3 years we're still going to be relevant. Where the Bucs are like, yo, after Brady's gone, that team's going to be in shambles.
They're done.
So it's what's the now again they got a ring out of it, but it was also it's still even though they won, it wasn't a guarantee
Rodgers
win.
Has been there for a decade. How do you not surround the guy?
Here's my thing: they go for it on that 4th down, they win. This conversation never happens. It never becomes a thing. It's the fact they lost. So if they win, the front office looks like heroes. So it's just part of the decisions. I respect that decision more than what the Bucs are doing because the Bucs are gonna be relevant in a few years.
Yeah, right. They bought a championship.
That's like
they brought the
what if the front office came out after that interview? It was like, you know what, Rodgers, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna throw some passes. I'm gonna come down there and throw a few passes during the game. Because I feel like I can make a huge contribution to you.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The front office.
Yes.
Going down and telling Rodgers how to do his job.
But look, Rodgers has been around long enough that this guy's not a rookie coming out.
Sure.
And like he's not like a second-year starter. He's been in the NFL and he's been a high-level player for a long time.
But he hasn't managed a multi-billion-dollar NFL team.
But that doesn't mean that he can't have some input on the people that he needs around him to be successful.
So why can't the executive come down and say, "Hey, I'm going to throw the football"? I've seen a lot of quarterbacks, been around it forever.
Look,
it's the same argument that you're making.
It can be, but I mean, if you're a football player, you understand football players. Look, that's a little bit different than saying a person coming down from the executive office and trying to do like a physical, like something like a physical activity. I mean, you're not built for that. It doesn't mean that Aaron Rodgers can't have enough
played in high
aptitude.
school.
Aaron Rodgers has enough aptitude to understand what he needs and what his own style is.
Okay, so I'll give you a little bit. I understand. I agree with him being a part of the conversation a little bit, but to throw a fit about it.
Did he throw a fit?
I mean, it was a quiet fit.
But that's.
You left your team. You again going back to what we talked about, leaving your team stranded. You didn't show up to any of the preseason or the practices.
They're OTAs.
So
the first word in the OTA is optional. And this guy didn't need to be there anyway.
Yeah, but when you're the GOAT, though, Tom Brady never stops. That's my thing. Is like that's where I understand it's optional. The word the optional is for the losers to me. I feel like it's a test. Anytime I see that, it's like, look, if it's OTAs and it starts, you got other kids that are showing up. Go be an example. You want your team to be great. You want your team to be great. You want your O-line to be a certain way. Then go spend the extra time with those guys and make them better.
And I get where you're coming from there. Like be pot committed and do your thing. At the same time, though,
we can't sit here and say, hey, Simone, you got to adapt and be dealt with the cards that you're handed, and then fight and then counter it with.
So what happens if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt in OTAs?
That's part of the game. He can get hurt in preseason. That's just part of. He can get hurt walking down the stairs. That's irrelevant.
Look, you earn the right to not have to participate in the OTAs.
I disagree.
You do.
I know you do, and I know that it's allowed, and I know they don't really care about it that much. I'm talking about me from my perspective. If you're the GOAT, where Tom Brady's out in the mountains in January throwing the football around, that's why he has 7 rings. That's why you got 1, Rodgers. Fact, numbers don't lie. I'm telling you.
Well, look, I mean, but we're not talking about Tom Brady right now. Like Tom Brady also had probably the best coach, head office. You think about that.
If you try to discredit this man's championship, I'm gonna lose my
bananas.
bananas.
No, I'm not taking anything away from Tom Brady. The man is amazing.
He's a god. Okay, it's cool. Tom's the god. Okay,
he's a goat. You can't see it on the cast, but it's on the wall right next to me.
Drunkle Tom. Listen, man, that was a solid episode.
Let's go, baby.
I'm juiced up. Let us know in your comments. What do you think? Rodgers, right, wrong? Let us know what you guys think. Who was right? Who's on the right side here?
BDE family is never shy about.
They are not,
especially telling us we're wrong.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, they love that.
Yes.
So by all means, BDE family,
keep the BDE flowing.
Keep it.
And I'm Sheldon.
I'm Holly.
Boogity boogity. Oh. See ya.
Tell them ready set. Check the field, let it build. I won't break a sweat. Never down for the count. What you wanna bet? Try to take me